Every team in the ocean race has got its unique personality. And Team Malizia was certainly really open with theirs in the last edition. And one person in particular won a lot of us round. Rosalin Kuiper, young Dutch sailor who did the Ocean Race Europe and then got a chance to join Boris Herman's team for that race around the world. And now her career is just blossoming. She's going one step further. She's joined Nico Lundven as co-skipper on Team Holcim-PRB, and she's set to skipper that boat for the Ocean Race Europe in 2025. I got a chance to sit down and talk with her about her preparations for that race, about how she deals with lack of sleep on board and not losing her mind in the Southern Ocean.
We've been trying to have this conversation for a little while. We've been trying to kind of connect. You've been busy, I've been busy, and all the rest of it. But we both kind of made tonight work, and we're talking now. It seems like you've put a lot more effort into talking than I have, because where on earth are you? Or should I say, why are you in your car?
Yeah, it's a good question. At the moment, I'm in Port-la-Forêt in France, and I'm in my beautiful tiny camper van. I can show you around. Isn't it cute? It's not bigger than a normal car.
That's nice.
But
it is.
Yeah, it's quite nice. I built it in the COVID time, I'm back at the boat, and I like.
Oh, hang on! Sorry! You built this. This is something that you made.
Yeah, I made it in the COVID time when there was no sailing, and I finished my studies, and I was like, okay, let's get on with it.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. That's pretty impressive. All right. So listen. I want to talk a little bit about what's going on in France. I want to talk a little bit about what you are looking ahead and the new team and the new everything. But before I kind of get to that point, I guess we kind of start at the beginning. All right?
Yes,
and
let's start at the beginning.
Everybody's sailing story is always, I was a little one. I jumped into an Optimist. I went sailing here. I went sailing there. But I guess the big question for you is not where you started sailing in some little lake near Scheveningen and a little oppie and little summer camps. But when did you love it? When did you fall in love with sailing? Because a lot of people do a bit of sailing and then they stop, but you still seem to have that passion that a lot of, if you don't mind me saying, a lot of young people have. So when did you really fall hard for this sport?
Oh, it's a good question, and it's a good start. Actually, it was not long time ago. I think 10 years ago, I decided after my studies to take a break, a gap year, and I went to Australia backpacking. And I was there by myself, traveling the East Coast. And I noticed every place I just went into harbors and I looked at boats, and I was just so curious what was going on. And when I reached the Whitsunday Islands, I met a guy called Peter, and Peter was taking care of a boat of an owner, and he lived very close to the harbor with his dad. His dad was 90 years old, and both of the men, they sailed a couple of times around the world. And I found a job as a deckhand, and I worked on the boat in change for just a house and living. And the dad, he didn't sail for 5 years, and he said, Peter, I know I'm gonna die soon because I have cancer, and I like to go one more time to the Whitsundays, and I like to sail with you and with Rosie. And so we prepared the boat for weeks, and the boat was perfectly ready, and we brought his dad on the boat, and we went out sailing for 3 days. And at that moment we were sailing on the Whitsundays, and the guys, they said, okay, let's go into a harbor and find a place where to rest for the night. And I said, no, let me continue. I enjoy it so much. Let me continue. And I sail overnight. And then, trust me, I know what I'm doing. And I had no clue. I just loved to be on that boat. And when I was sailing, I think it was 1 o'clock when the guys went to bed. It was 3 o'clock in the night. And I saw all these stars and the warm breeze from the Australian summer. And a kind of fire started inside of me, and I was like, this is what makes my heart beat, and this is what I want to do. And for me, it started over there.
And how much of your life does it take up now? You've been around the world with the Ocean Race Europe. I mean, that's not even about the things that are coming up, but you seem to You seem like your life is this sailing adventure.
Yes, my life is this sailing adventure, and for me it started by then because I felt what it did to me, and I just knew this is really what I want to do. And yeah, of course, at the moment I'm sailing full time, and I feel so happy when I'm on the water, and I feel so happy when I can explore new things and when I can push boundaries. And I still feel now when I'm in my little camper van, very close to the ocean, I can see it from here. I feel so alive, you know. So yeah, I wish to be nowhere else than just here and knowing that we're going sailing tomorrow again. So
right,
I found what I love.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people search a lot of time for it, and it's clear that you really are passionate about it. So let's talk about what you're doing now, because I feel like we're going to kind of jump around because there's so much that I want to ask you. Parking for the moment. The first time that I think we crossed parking for a moment, the first time that we crossed paths, which would be the first ocean race Europe when you were on Axonabel.
Yes.
Yes, and of course,
correct. Yeah.
Sailing with Will Harris, like a lot of things. But just putting that to one side for the moment. Parking the ocean race, which obviously you did with Team Malizia. When you say you're about to go sailing tomorrow, I feel like we're gonna leave a lot of people behind here, because a lot of people will think I'm talking to Rosalin Kuiper from Team Malizia, but I'm not talking to someone from Team Malizia.
No, you're talking to Rosalin Kuiper from Team Holcim-PRB.
So fill me in there, because that's a switch.
To Team
What's happened?
Holcim-PRB. Yeah. Exactly. So, yes, I did the Ocean Race Europe on Axonobel in 2020, I think. Then I did the Ocean Race last year on board Team Malizia with skipper Boris Herman, German. And after the Ocean Race around the world, Team Holcim-PRB, or direct concurrent, they approached me and they offered me the job as a skipper for this team for the Ocean Race Europe in 2025. So that's where I'm now.
It seems like you were in Team Malizia. Obviously, you were really happy in Team Malizia. It was a team that I think was really bonded together and seemed to be very, I'm sure every team was very kind of like, loyal and everything, but you guys seem to really celebrate your team together. So what was it like turning around to those sailors?
We did celebrate life together.
Right, exactly. And all those adventures and those massive highs and lows. But you had to turn around and say, look, I've had this offer. Can you talk about that moment? Because that can't have been easy.
Well, yes. Yeah. I will explain to you. And the truth is, I'm almost every day in contact with Boris. And I speak to Will Harris every week. And when I'm here, I catch up with the guys because they are my mates and they're my friends. And I didn't turn around and turn my back on them. No, I discussed everything so openly. And I said, hey, guys, what happened to me? Team Holcim-PRB approached me with this and this opportunity. And I discussed it openly with Boris and with Holly, the team manager of Team Malizia. And they said, Rosie, this must be so difficult for you because we know you and you love it here. But they said, you can't refuse this offer. So we are fully supporting you to take on this role. And they know what my ambition is. And they know I really like to make an impact in the sailing world as well and bring more diversity. And they said, this is the biggest offer you can get. And we can't offer you this position in the next year in our team. So they said, go for it, and we support you fully. And they said, you can always come back. You can always come sailing on our boat and come back in the team, and we support you. So I think that's the most support you can get from a sailing team, and what you can get from your friends, and they feel like family, So I feel what I'm doing now, we do it together because I feel so supported.
And it's, that team, you're going to have a lot of things that link you guys together. Your experience, obviously, the ocean race. I mean, one of the things is, on paper, in the record books, you guys, Team Malizia, you bunch of sailors are the fastest 24-hour record. I mean, you got the biggest number of miles covered in 24 hours. But when you say that, you think, oh, that's pretty
Yes.
good. That was, the breeze was blowing and the boats were fast. But it's incredible that it all just lined up so that you were in a race from A to B. And it just so happened that sailing from A to B was the
Exactly.
fastest possible way you could sail. I wonder whether that
Yeah.
moment lives as loudly in your mind as it does in us fans.
Yes, for us it was a super special moment, and it is. I mean, breaking a monohull record and being the fastest boat on the planet, I think that's incredible. And there are many teams who are going to America to wait for a right time slot to cross the ocean and try to hit a record. And for us, it was just in that race, and we knew, like, after a couple of hours and we saw the weather window, we were like, maybe we can break this record, right? And we pushed so hard as a team, and hour by hour, and oh man, we pushed the boat that it was almost breaking. And it was just spectacular. And that's an incredible moment what you celebrate. And it was a confirmation as well for us, because you're involved in the design of the boat, in the build of a boat, and it was just such a big celebration. Like, we built a fast boat, and we are record holders now. So that's incredible, and I think that's a dream of every sailor.
And you talk about breakages as well. I remember every team had some big moments, but all that drama with you guys going into the Southern Ocean. And there was one thing that I really wanted to ask you at the time, but you were a little bit busy right then, laying up carbon fiber and kind of repairing the boat.
Never.
But one thing that I wondered was, I couldn't help but think, if it was me, and I know we are different. You do your thing and I do my thing for very good reasons. But if it was me, and if somebody
and you do
had
your
said,
thing well, Neil. Remember, my mother is a big fan of you. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that. I do remember that.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Thanks.
go
Thanks
on.
for that.
No, it's
No,
like
I
we
will.
were in Newport, and the only thing she said, like, oh, I really like to meet Neil. She was like, I don't care about the rest. I just like to have a picture with Neil. So I was the one taking pictures of the two of you, and it was pretty fun. Anyway, sorry, Neil.
That was good. No, it's fine. Go ahead. Always nice. As if everybody, I mean, God, when we were in Holland for the race, it was Team Rosie. I mean, it was incredible. I mean, did you realize how popular your adventure had been and your achievements as an athlete had made you?
No, I had no idea. And to be honest, it was just an out-of-body experience. It was so overwhelming. But you live so much in your own little sailing bubble. Like, we're on the boat with the 5 of us, and we sail to all these continents, and everywhere where you arrive, you step into a new culture with new people, with different food, but your culture on the boat remains the same. And I had no idea about what was really going on in the outside world. But when we arrived in The Hague, it was, it was fireworks. It was so cool to have the Dutch Queen and the Dutch King on the boat, and have all my friends and family and a lot of Dutch fans cheering on the shore. And that was enormous. That was incredible, but so heartwarming.
What does that do for you? What I mean is, when you get that level of attention, is it a good thing? As in, you go, oh wow, this really gives me a lot of energy, or do you feel like, oh God, they think I'm something I'm not? Imposter syndrome, or is it a boost to your confidence? I mean, I just wonder what that would be like.
Yeah, like, I think a bit of both. Like, first of all, I was so proud and happy that I saw so many people that I know, like my friends and family. And I think when you choose to take this path to be a professional sailor, and you try to push boundaries, there's a lot of things you leave behind. So I can't be on celebrations or parties, babies that are born, or funerals. And I choose to live this life. And for me it was very emotional that I saw everyone that I loved, that I was like, despite the fact that I'm not there always for them physically, they're here for me, and they support me in what I do. And for me, that was for me the biggest achievement of the whole race, to be honest, to see that these people are still, supporting me. So that was, super heartwarming. I felt like fulfilled, like I'm done, and I knew I had to do another leg, but for me that was the milestone.
And going
and on the
forward,
other hand as well, there's so much attention and publicity around it that you're like, oh wow, guys, I'm just an ordinary girl who is living a dream, and I'm just a normal person, But I think in the end I just did what I felt was good, and I enjoyed every moment of being there, and I still get energy from it.
And going forward, you're going to be in that position again, because I think this is probably a reasonable chance to sort of. It is a bit of a whirlwind. I mean, I'm trying to get my head around you and where you are at the moment and everything you're doing, but obviously Team Holcim-PRB. Nico Lundven with you. You've got the Vendée Globe. You're preparing the boat. You're working on the boat. You're developing the systems. After that, we've got the Ocean Race Europe, and that's going to be, that's going to be you, right? You're skippering that.
Yeah. So that's like that. That's a massive job, and that's the situation now. We have 2 skippers, and Nico, we're preparing phase 1, we call it, for Nico for the Vendée Globe. That's starting in November. He's going to sail solo around the world. And when the boat returns, I will be the skipper of the program, and we're going to transform the boat again in crude mode. And we're prepared a team to be ready for the ocean race in 2025. And I'm very lucky and happy that both of us are in this position. For Nico, it's his dream to do the Vendée Globe. I sailed with Nico around the world on Team Malizia, so I know him very well. And for me, it's a dream to skipper a boat, and to make it a diverse and international team. And I'm super lucky and happy that we have a sponsor as Holcim-PRB, who's supporting both of us on this side. So, it's a good place to be in.
You say you know Nico Lundven very well, so help me out there, because he's a hard one to read. Do you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't quite put his emotions out there. What's the real Nico Lundven like at 2:00 in the morning in a midnight shift?
Yeah, he's the same as at 6:00 in the afternoon. So Nico is a stable rock. Like, when he has 3 kids, and he lives in Port-la-Forêt, so very close to the boat. He has 3 kids and a very busy life at home, and when he goes sailing, he says like, oh, finally I can relax and I can sleep a bit more. But he is just super focused on the job, very professional, very good sailor, and just very stable in emotion, Like, a bomb can explode and he will just respond very calm. And I'm totally the opposite, of course, but it's just, that's Nico, But in the end, you just know he gets the job done, and he's very good in what he does. So it's cool to work together.
So at the moment, like you say, this phase is all about Nico, or at least it's all about the Vendée Globe, you guys working together. But I'm sure that already in your quiet moments, scribbling on pieces of paper, daydreaming, whatever, you're already thinking about, okay, when the boat's mine, when I've got to build my team. So,
every day.
So where are you with that? What does the Ocean Race Europe team that you're going to build, what does it look like now?
So, Neil, to be honest, I'm thinking about that a lot. I mean, it's a big job, it's a great opportunity, and how is the team looking like? My aim is to build a happy, well-functioning and international team. And that's the aim for now. And I have plenty of ideas. But what I find most important is to give all the sailors and everyone a chance to be able to sail in our team. Of course, we can't go with 100 people on the boat, but at least I find it important to give everyone the chance, and that's what I'm fighting for, and that's how it will go.
What ideas are you going to steal from good skippers, from good teams that you've been in before? What ideas are you going to take? Whether it's tiny things like, oh, just a little word here, a little phrase, or big ideas. Give me some of the insights.
Well, I have a background in psychology, right? I specialize myself in team dynamics and organizational structures. And I would be super keen to set up how do you say it, a self-functioning team, like from itself. Yep. So I don't like a hierarchy, and I like to have like a flat structure. And that's my aim, to bring people together with a good vibe, with a good spirit, who are super keen, put in a lot of effort. You don't have to be the best sailor in the world. No, I prefer actually someone who is super keen to learn, and that we can operate all on the same level. And I like to be the skipper who is empowering the people around him. And that's something that I take from Boris Herman, from Team Malizia. That's the thing that he did. He empowered every single person in the sailing team, but in the shore team as well, around him to be the best version of him or herself. And I think the basis of that type of leadership is to really care about people and really truly caring about the people around you. And that's something I take and I like to bring into my own team as well.
What are the parts of being the skipper, being the leader, that you are not looking forward to?
It's a good question. I'm kind of trained to always see the positive sides of it. But I know in the end, being skipper means as well that in the end, you're responsible for the people on the boat. And I think that's a part what I should take into account very carefully. And I think you will see tough moments as well. But I think that's something you should face. And with the right team around you and the right support team, I'm sure we can find a good way. But I don't think it's easy. Like I work with many skippers in many teams together, and it's not easy to have that position.
I was talking to Chris Nicholson a number of years ago, and we were talking about the moment. I was, good guy. Hit a big island once, and the problem is I always bring it up with him. And but I was talking to him about, at that moment, did you suddenly realise, oh wow, I'm responsible for all these people, and we're in this dire situation? And he said, no, I'm always thinking that. Long before you get into a crash, long before something breaks, long before something, he's always thinking that. And I imagine that makust be very tiring. And for a lot of people, actually, I don't want to be skipper. You know, it's not a responsibility I want. So is this you trying it out? Or do you think you're like, no, I want this. I think I can do this well. I think I can relish this.
Yes. I think I can do this. I know I can do this. And otherwise I wouldn't have done it, because it's such a big job. And it's a big role. And if you're not sure about yourself and about your skills as a sailor and as a leader, you should never step into this role. So I know I'm going to do this, and we will bring it to a good end.
Let's talk about the boat then. Let's talk about the Imoca, Holcim-PRB, Team Malizia. If you saw both of them on the water, one is very down, one is very up, one is quite bulbous, one is not. There's some big differences there. Have you found that quite different, just waking up and reaching for something and, oh, hang on, no, we don't have that on this boat?
So in November I did the transatlantic crossing with Team Holcim-PRB, and it's just if you sail around the world for half a year with one boat and you sail on a different boat, it's just weird. It's like, oh, this is not working. And sometimes you say, oh, wow, this is actually super handy and smart. It's like, it's both a 60-foot IMOCA, but it's a totally different from the inside, and it has totally different behavior in terms of sailing. And it's very cool to explore. You're sailing a new boat. You know, Holcim-PRB has sailed around the world, but for Nico and myself, it was like stepping on a brand new boat and really exploring, how to tweak and to tune this boat again.
It must be interesting for those people with Team Holcim-PRB that they finally get a good amount of insider knowledge from the people in Team Malizia. I mean, you've now sailed on 2 IMOCAs, and that, I imagine that gives you some advantage to know what might be a good thing to do.
Yeah, and I think especially when you do longer offshores, when you sail more than 10 or 15 days, you really get you have a life on board, right? And things need to be really efficient, so much more efficient than when you're only sailing 2 days. Then you can go around a bit. But when it's really your house for a longer term, it should be super efficient. And I think for sure you bring knowledge from the other boat, and you try to make the boat better and better. I actually do remember when I stepped on Team Holcim-PRB, I was like, wow, I felt like I'm exploring a secret. It was like, these guys and these girls, they worked as hard as we did on Team Malizia to make this boat as good as possible. And look what they made here, and look how they built that, and so efficient and so light. And I was like, I'm like opening a beautiful box with so many secrets and things. And that was super cool.
I imagine it's quite tempting to sort of phone up Boris and go, Boris, oh my God, you wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
It's much better than yours.
Yeah. Exactly, but that's the line I draw. Like, I am friends, and I'm good friends, but I will never ever, because it's the boat of Nico and myself now, and you know I'm pushing Nico, and I really support him big time to do the Vendée Globe and do so well. So I will never tell secrets to other boats. Never.
Of course.
No, never.
No, of course. And I know the loyalties and the culture and everything else. You talked about the boat being your home when you're offshore. And I think for a lot of people who have done maybe one night offshore, you get some sense of it. But for a week, 2 weeks, a month, and, you know, for the race as a whole, you know, all that time. So let me put you on that boat. What do you do to keep your sanity in check as the hours and the days tick by?
I don't know the word sanity, to be honest, Neil.
Okay, so how would I explain the word sanity is simple enough. Okay, so if you lost your sanity on an IMOCA, you would probably paint your face, go crazy, speak funny word, grow a beard down to here. You might maybe eat one of your crew members. You would go insane.
Okay, it's a good question. So, for me, my bunk was a special place, and it was really the place where I could, retract myself a bit from the group, and I listened to a lot of music. Actually, I listened to one playlist. It's on Spotify, and it's called Jazz Vibes. And I actually I did an hypnosis. Yeah, no, it's jazz vibes.
Right,
it's quite chill. There's like no singing. But I did this is a story, Neil. I used to have a sleeping disorder, right? No, like really, this was an exonoble. When I was with Chris Nicholson, I did sleepwalking quite a lot. And Chris Nicholson said to me, Rosie, if you want to make it into professional sailing, seriously, you need to handle this sleepwalking thing. Because I was sometimes in deliveries, I was just waking up, screaming, and then coming on deck in my pajamas, and then I remember with Nikolai Siested behind the wheel, I said to him, there is a big tanker ship coming towards us. We need to change course now. And he said, what? We were in Denmark. He said, what? And he ran down the computer and he said, Rosie, there is no tanker ship. I said, there is a tanker ship really coming. We need to change now. And then he said, you are sleeping. And at that point I woke up and I was like, meow, meow, meow. So this was kind of a big problem for me. So I
Sounds
went
like
into,
a big problem for everybody.
No, like I went into training and in hypnosis training, and actually I turned the thing around. So I do my sleeping hypnosis now with this music playlist, and I know after 24 seconds with this and this tune I fall asleep. And you can really drop a bomb. But actually this is a bit on the weird side, because you can drop a bomb, like all the alarms can go off and I'm still sleeping like a little baby. So but I sleep very well. Like maybe that's why I'm always happy on the boat. And then Nico, sorry for all the chat, but Nico was opposite from me. And when he had to wake me up, he really had to shake my legs and to like squeeze my feet. And it was like a big trouble to wake me up. But I don't know how we came to this. Yeah. So you asked how I... Sorry.
I don't know
how
what I asked.
kind of relax on the boat, right? Yeah,
Yes.
you said something about sanity. Salinity? No, sanity. I don't know. But for me, it's the sleeping It's the sleeping hypnosis, what I do every time that I sleep. And just chill in the bunk and read some messages, send an email to my family, and just have some me time. Yeah.
I love this. I love this fact that actually, in a good way and a bad way, you guys can contact the shore. I know there are lots of rules and they're very sensible about keeping the sailing pure. So you can't, hey guys, you've been looking at the tracker, which way should I go? Which way should I go? But you can kind of reach out to people. But I wonder, is that actually a good thing? Because sometimes I imagine that there's stresses on the shore where somebody's ill or somebody's upset about something and you think, I don't want to deal with this right now. I'm just trying to work out whether we should peel to the J2.
Yeah.
Is it a good thing being in contact or not?
So what I did, I made rules with my family. So I shared with no one that I had internet and that I WhatsApp. And I made rules with my family. So my mother sent me an email on Monday. My sister on Tuesday. My father on Wednesday. My brother on Thursday. And my boyfriend, he sent me an email every second day, I guess. But it's exactly at 6 o'clock UTC, I received those emails. And I told them I probably can't reply, but I read them, and for me it was like reading a book, because they told me about their daily life, the things in their mind, and actually I had such good contact with my family that when I returned back on the shore, they said, "Oh, I miss it to send you an email and to clear my mind." It was like a diary, and for me that was working super well, because then you have clear expectations, and if you're just chatting all the time, if someone is responding too late, you can get upset, like, oh, someone forgot about me, or and in this way it was just super clear.
and I can imagine as well, you'd get worried.
I never received an email from you, Neil.
Hey, no, I was going to mention, well, how could I email you? Just, listen, just look, watch on the tracker. But I remember we did a show one day, and we explained a little bit about what you were doing on the boat that day. You were working really hard. Some great footage came in from the OBR, and we're like, yeah. And we kind of examined what you were doing. And I wondered whether your friend, your mum, your someone, boyfriend, dad, whatever, someone messaged you and said, hey, you were a bit of a feature of the show. And then you sent me a WhatsApp saying, let me know if you want to know what's going on the boat and all the rest of it. And I thought, I wonder whether you've seen the show. Oh, you were featured in the show. And then you messaged me back, went, yeah,
Did I send that to you?
And I thought, it's kind of weird that you, yeah.
Oh, no, I know. It was my mother. Like, she's Inspector Gadget and she watches everything. So then she's briefing me like this and this happened.
No, I loved it. I love the fact that we made this this thing for the fans, and you're all the way out there on the other side of the world, and you're like, oh yeah, cheers. Apparently you said good things about me, thanks. I was like, oh, that's quite nice,
Yo, thanks. Yeah, it's quite fun. I think it must be difficult then a couple of years ago, but to be honest, Neil, I've almost only sailed on boats with furling front sails and with internet on the boat. And I think that says something about my generation and maybe how young I am. Because if you ask this to Chris Nicholson, he's like, wow, 80% of his sailing career was totally different,
Yeah.
It says something about how the sailing world is changing, I guess.
Could not agree more. And there was a sailor that did the last ocean race that had done previous editions as well. And I know for a fact that they actually sat down with their team and they said, we shouldn't have any contact because I don't want you stressing. I don't want husbands or wives to be texting saying, oh, the car's broken down or, oh, whatever. I don't want you to have that stress. So it's interesting that for you, yeah, I've grown up as a sailor with it. It's fine. But for other people, it has been an interesting thing to kind of get themselves used to. But I imagine it's a big comfort when you do need to reach out.
Yes, it's a big comfort. And I think if you make clear rules, and we had clear rules on the boat as well, like we only use our phone in the back area where the living space is and where people have free time, and you're not going to text or call or whatever you do in the cockpit. And we made clear rules about that. We discussed this multiple times. But I think in our team as well, we all see the value of media and sharing the story. And it gives us energy. It gives myself energy as well to share. And actually, I felt so much support from the media and from people who are following the race. Gave me big time energy. And I think if you see it in a different way or you feel it in a different way, then it's just very demanding to do all the media things as well. But I think it's part of our job to share the story with everyone. And to give the sponsor visibility as well. I think that's part of the job.
Yeah. Whether you like it or not, you're inspiring the next generation. And you've done a very good job so far, and I'm sure you're going to continue to do it. But it must be sort of hard work. One thing I do wonder about you in the future, because I remember seeing you on Team Malizia when it was that funny time where maybe you were on watch with Nico or Will or someone, and they'd go, I'm just going to have a half an hour sleep. So there's that point where you've got all the winches, all the controls for half an hour or whatever, and you're like, this boat is mine.
Yeah, that's
and
the best
seemed like
moment.
you had music blaring. You're right, and you're dancing away, and you're absolutely going for it. And I looked at it and I thought, surely this person is going to do some big solo sailing at some point in the future.
Ooh, good questions. To be honest, I don't know. So I really enjoy when the whole dance floor is mine and all the guys are sleeping like little babies and I can just hammer it, I have this tune in my ears and that's good. You feel totally alone with the boat and you feel one with the boat. But I have to say that I'm so happy to share the vibe with other people. And to be honest, I think it's dangerous to sail alone. Like literally what these guys and girls are doing out there going solo around the world. I'm like, wow, what if this? What if that? I mean, maybe I'm too conservative in that case, but I just find it super dangerous to do that by yourself. And I just like to enjoy the vibe with other people, and if you're up you can share your good energy with someone who is down and vice versa. So I like to work in a team, I guess, but say never never. Maybe I go solo around the world in 2028 and then I hope you send me an email.
Okay, if you go solo around the world in 2028, I will send you an email. If that's all it takes, that is not a problem. I'll need your email address, but I'm sure we can work that one out. So just finally, before I let you go, because I know you're going to go out tomorrow, like you said, the boat's had a refit, you got this big day, you're doing an awful lot. Just putting the sailing to one side at the moment, you are really busy, right? I mean, because do you live in France now? Aren't you like building a house somewhere and you've got, you know, family and relationships and all the rest of it? I mean, how much of your life is sort of being juggled right now?
Yeah. 100%. No, to be honest, it has been quite busy the past years, and especially after the ocean race, I lost 7 kilos since the finish of the race. So I look a bit slim. Yeah, I bought a house when I was sailing around Cape Horn. Actually, it was a funny story as well. So we used to live in Amsterdam, and we were looking for a bit more quiet place. And my boyfriend, you know, he sent me some screenshot of a house, and he said, maybe this is something for us. And I just fell on my head, actually, and I had a big concussion. But I said, no, I think we should buy this. I think this is fantastic. This is exactly what we're looking for. And he asked me, are you serious? And I said, yeah, I'm more serious than ever. So actually we bought a house then, but we bought like, it's such an old house. So the past half a year we did a big renovation and we knocked down all the walls, and it was quite a lot with building a house, changing jobs, with all the responsibility. So that's where I lost a bit of weight. And now I'm in France again. So the house was finished last week, and 2 days later I left again to live in my tiny house. But I'm happy where I am. It's good to be back with the boat, and I'm happy that I have a stable place now in the Netherlands, because the last 7 years I traveled a lot. I was a lot with teams, lived everywhere and nowhere. And I'm happy that I can return now to a stable place, and I'm happy that my partner is sorted as well.
I remember seeing you in the bunk, bandaged up, and I remember thinking, I really hope that they look after her so that she can't fall over or anything. And now I realise that they should have taken your mobile phone away so that you couldn't buy a house while suffering from concussion. No one saw that coming.
Yeah, it was quite funny. And actually, when I arrived in The Hague, we were only 4 days in The Hague, and it was a mental experience. And I had to go to like the notaris office, like the people who are doing all the financial things with the house, and I had to put my sign there. And I was there. I didn't shower for a couple of days. I was just in my sailing clothing, and they looked at me like, is this girl really able of making his decision like this? But it was quite fun. Yeah.
Nice.
But no, things are settled down now, and it's good to move forward. And I'm super keen and motivated of everything what's in front of us.
Well, listen.
But it was a bit a hectical year, I have to say.
Yeah, it was a bit of a hectical year, but the concussion is gone, so no more houses for now. You can work on the one that you have.
No.
We're done. We'll hit the pause on that one. Look, we're going to leave you. I'm going to leave you to hunker down in your lovely little camper van that you built by yourself. I mean, I'm so impressed.
Yeah, I'm going to make a cup of tea.
Look at this. It's fantastic. You really don't sit still. It's really impressive. It's really impressive. And I know you've got a big sail tomorrow. And thank you very much for giving the time to sort of squeeze this little chat in and a little bit of a catch up. I'll keep an eye on everything that you guys are doing in Team Holcim-PRB.
Yeah, that was good fun, actually.
Good. I'm glad it was, because you've got a full day of working on the boat tomorrow, and then you've got a big adventure ahead of you, building all the way up to the Ocean Race Europe and beyond. And we wish you all the best. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Neil. It was great chatting with you. Thanks.